Isn't it crazy how much we can get caught up in our own lives? Not really noticing the things in front of us, and taking for granted those around us, and not realizing how our entire world can change in an instant.
Hey, are you okay? Mom!
My wife, she was right here.
Reports all over the country and even internationally. Hong Kong, England, Russia are much the same.
We can't stay in the city.
Come on!
If one of us doesn't make it, you have to keep going.
It's gonna be okay.
High school feels like 100 years ago.
We have restored calm to the world under one government, one currency, one belief.
He scares me. He scares me too.
Guess we got lucky.
Maybe it wasn't just luck. Maybe it was something more than that. What's with the gun? For protection, it's better to not ask too many questions. What? That's my dad.
I said get in. If anybody finds out what we've been doing, it's gonna be bad.
No one's gonna find out anything because we're gonna find them.
We really have to leave.
Go! Grab on!
It's a dark time. Everybody's asking, why am I still here? If we stick together, we'll find out.
And he is the grandson of the late Tim LaHaye. Filmmaker Randy LaHaye joins us with a backstory on Vanished, the new Left Behind thriller we just saw. Welcome to the Harvest Show.
Thank you for having me, Valerie.
Okay, so that's your baby. That's what you said?
Yeah. I don't know if it's cold in here or it's because I get chills every time I see that, that trailer. I love it.
So is this your first film?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us, give us a synopsis of the film because, you know, many of us know about the Left Behind publishing dynasty. We've read the books and what have you, but you just told us that this film is really geared toward a certain age group. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, thank you. So our film, Vanished, is the first of a new franchise called Left Behind Next Generation. And the idea was, because kids today have no idea what Left Behind is, right. I thought I would introduce the concept to them with a fresh, new, young take on the story to make it relevant to them. And you know what the idea I had was I was watching Twilight, and I was like, wow, there's an interesting genre that really resonates with kids today, the YA genre, Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, all these titles. I thought that would be a great way to kind of introduce the Left Behind concept to a new generation. And so we got these fabulous young kids, as you could see from the trailer, to star in it, and they're amazing. And so that's what it is. We're going to tell the whole 7-year tribulation, my grandfather's interpretation of prophecy throughout the series, and this is the first one.
And I think the key here is you are staying true to that story told by your grandfather. It's just skewed to today's younger people, right?
That's exactly right. The books came out in early 90s, and with the exponential growth of technology and the geopolitical landscape, we're living in a different world today, and I wanted to make it feel as real and like today as it, but everything is staying true to his interpretation of prophecy.
Okay, you know, when I look at the film and I think about the demographic, 12 to 17-year-olds watching this film, I mean, there's a lot of competition. When those books came out in the 90s, we didn't have this, you know, we didn't have the technology that we have today, and so we really were taken in by those books. But this is a way to get the digital generation to come along and to really think about what it means to be born again. And I guess this is the message that you're trying to portray.
Yeah, that's well said, Valerie. That's it. I mean, being the grandson of the late Tim LaHaye, I had a kind of front row seat to see really how God used his idea and the books he and Jerry Jenkins created to really reach out to those that didn't know Christ And that was the beauty for me. That was the powerful thing about those books. They were an incredible outreach tool because all the letters, when they started to get popular, all the letters that came into Tim, he would share them with me, and people talked about how much they enjoyed giving these books to their unsaved friends and family because they were getting sucked into these stories, and then out of it on their own terms, they wanted to know more about this Jesus or these deeper eternal questions that were arising from reading the books. And so that was the heart behind our movie. I mean, it's an outreach tool, you know. I want to encourage people to invite unchurched, you know, non-believing friends and family members to come check out this movie.
Is it also different trying to reach out to the target audience in a post-9/11 world because they didn't grow up in the world that you and I grew up in?
Yeah.
They've grown up.
They've
not
grown up
knowing,
here on their cell phones.
Well, but also with the years of religious strife, with this Islamophobia that goes on throughout the nation and throughout the world, for that matter. We had comments on the show yesterday from an Australian senator talking about the rise of Islam in their country.
Wow. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a different generation. We don't tackle those issues in the movie. We keep it pretty accessible to everybody. But I tell you one thing, when 9/11 happened, 2001,
right,
the Left Behind sales spiked again. I think for obvious reasons. I mean, we're seeing the end times unfurl, and every time I turn on the news, what's happening in the Middle East. So our movie in this new franchise is going to be as relevant today, or even more so, than the Left Behind books were 20 years ago.
Tell us about the actors you selected.
Oh, well, that's a fun topic. So these kids are absolutely phenomenal. Dylan Sprayberry is the star of MTV's Teen Wolf. Mason Dye is also the star of MTV's Teen Wolf, and he's been on Flowers in the Attic, Lifetime original show. Amber Frank, the star of the film, also a believer, which we didn't know when we hired her, and that was just a God thing. She's the star of Nickelodeon's Haunted Hathaways. So we get these kids that are already, I mean, recognizable mainstream Hollywood actors. And I didn't know what to expect because you're on set with, you know, teenagers. So, you know, and they're Hollywood actors. So you don't know if they're going to be divas or if they're going to be unprepared. Every single one of these kids had done a tremendous amount of work on backstory for months before we went to shoot. So when we got to set, every single one of them were completely prepared, so professional. And then you get on the set and you realize these kids are actually phenomenal actors, but even better people than they are actors. You know,
that's always a good thing, isn't
it? They get along with everybody. They're just loving and kind and professional. And I was blown away. I was thinking to myself, man, if I was that mature when I was their age, maybe I would have been on movie 7 by now. You know?
You said Amber was a believer. What about some of the others? Were there any stories from the cast or crew where people maybe came around to a greater belief in Christ?
I'll tell you what, we had, I believe so. Everything from the extras that were there, everybody who worked on the film, they would all come to me and say, this is such a great experience, and I can really feel the love of Jesus on this set. It's really great.
Talk about the release date and what your expectations are.
Okay, so we're doing something innovative with this release, and this is really what I want the audience to hear. September 28th is the one-time special event showing in theaters across the country, but it's only Wednesday, September 28th. So they need to get their tickets now to go see it. And it's a special event because immediately following the movie, we're going to have a live streaming Q&A with the cast, myself. It's going to be hosted by Doug Fields from Download Youth Ministry. Doug's one of the prominent youth leaders in the country. And he's going to talk to the kids and watch them interact with each other, talk about where does the series go from here. And he's also going to deliver a message at the end to the audience. That's not going to feel preachy or, you know, churchy, but it's going to be relevant, and it's going to help the film realize its outreach potential.
Well, we hope it does accomplish what you have set out to accomplish, which is really to share the gospel of Jesus Christ with our younger generation. Thank you so much for joining us, Randy. For more information about a theater near you, go to thevanishedfilm.com. We'll be right back with an update with Brian Bush.
Thank you.